Well, obviously, thank you for taking the time to chat to us. So, thank you very much. At the moment, it's been rumoured online that you'd left TNA, and obviously we've recently been to the UK tours, saw that you're there announcing still. Are you back there full time?
I was happy to do the UK tour. I'm not sure what else will go on with TNA, but it's funny how people always word things online. You know, it's somebody was either left or was fired or, you know, all these different things. As I've discussed on a couple other interviews, it was, you know, definitely my time to explore other options, and I loved TNA. I was there for 9 years, but I really felt that it was time my contract was up, and obviously there's been no ill will. Clearly there hasn't been if they were nice enough to have me on the UK tour when Christy couldn't make it. So I was happy to do it, thrilled for many, many reasons. You know, one, the opportunity as an announcer to announce in a place like Wembley or the, you know, the Hydro, just huge opportunity as an announcer. So that to me was the biggest reason to do something like that, is just the experience of doing that. And to me, it's kind of a milestone. I can always look back and say, wow, those are really huge shows for me to do on a really cool tour. Number two, I am the biggest British fan. I'm the biggest UK fan in the world as far as history and architecture and art and just culture. So it's my favorite place, and I have family in London, so another little added bonus. But you know, but it all comes down to the fact that it's TNA. It's people that I've known since I was 15 to barely 16, including MVP.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was a nice little reunion, and I love all the people there, and nothing was different for me in terms of having my friends around. It was just really, really nice and refreshing to see everyone again.
Okay. How did you find yourself with Nigel and Exposure Entertainment?
Well, again, having family here in the UK, yeah, having family here in the UK, I actually saw Scotty had some shows here, and we were talking, and he said, oh, you gotta do this show, it's H.O.P.E. Wrestling, and he kind of put it over to me, and I was happy to do it because I had some free dates here in the UK while I was visiting family. So I took a break from the shopping and the being a big fan of Big Ben and castle and cathedral sightseeing to go, you know what, this seems like a really great show, I'd like to be a part of it. So I was happy that Nigel had me.
Okay. Are you with Nigel for the rest of the tour as well? Or
just... This is it for me. I've only got a couple more days with the family, and then I go home in a few days. But unfortunately, you know, it always seems like you have so much time when you're over here, and then I get home with my niece and nephew who are, you know, small children, and they're saying things like, you know, Auntie, why are you gone all the time? Because they don't understand that, you know, I can't see them as much as I'd like to. So I'd like to finish up the trip with seeing some family. So I kind of opted to just have the last few days with my sister and niece and nephew.
Fair enough. You said obviously you'd left TNA on good terms to explore other things. What other projects have you got lined up?
Well, there's a place that's called WWE.
Oh, right.
You guys heard of it?
No. Yeah, I heard that you were on the Rosebuds.
I was indeed. Last July, I worked 3 shows. I worked Battleground in Tampa, Raw in Miami, and SmackDown in Orlando. And obviously, I've been very honest. I hope that every interview people read it or hear it or see it and say, wow, I feel like I'm talking to a friend, and that she's being honest with me, because I've never understood. I very much am a proponent of somebody being private in their private life and their personal relationships, but as far as career goals, I think it's just absolutely offensive to a fan to act like you wouldn't want to end up in the WWE. I was always a WWF fan growing up. I started watching about maybe 12 or so, and that was where I, you know, wanted to end up. And, you know, I was practicing with fake WWF microphones and pretending I was Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson and mostly Stephanie McMahon. So I thought that, you know, having experience and getting a real backbone, if I can say that, with TNA and what the experiences that they awarded me gave me was a backbone to be confident in my abilities and to know that with anything WWE or any on-air hosting job, or you would call it presenting, would throw at me, that I would be so much more confident and comfortable with my skills, and I can thank TNA for that. And but yeah, of course, you know, when the time came, and I was there 9 years, it was a great run, but I just knew it was really time to pursue that. So I was happy to have that backing and somewhat of a following with, you know, with wrestling. People always say, oh, well, you know, you have Twitter followers and this and that. It's like, you know, whatever you want to call it, wrestling is not the biggest genre in the world, but if you know wrestling, there's a chance that you might know SoCal Val, which is cool. If you don't, that's cool too. What's up, Val? Nice to meet you. I like wrestling. And dresses. But, So I really felt that was the time to pursue it, and I had some friends there that I contacted that were nice enough to point me in the right directions, and the higher-ups in WWE have been nothing but just really, really receptive and cool, and just real. So it was nice to know that. And then, of course, I have some friends that are wrestlers there that are in NXT and the main roster, people like RVD, Jericho, people that I can really go to for advice. Bubba's a big one of those as well. People that I can go to for advice, and they can give me a straight answer, and at times calm my nerves down a little bit, because I had to do that before I went to WWE. I was like, oh gosh, what do I do? I haven't been backstage in 10 years. I was 18, and now I'm 28, and oh gosh. And they're all like, they might have called me stupid a little bit. They were kind of like, Val, you've done this before, you've been here before, we know that you want it, and it's a big dream for you, but, you have somewhat of a background in this, so be confident. And that's how I went in there, and I think I was pretty well received.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Obviously, you started, one of the main things you were known for years ago in TNA was being a valet for people like Sanjay Dutt, Kazarian, Jay Lethal.
Yes.
Who was your favourite person to work with?
Oh, well, they're not going to listen to this, right? Can you promise me that?
No.
Then I can just talk on
We
all
get
of
like
them.
5 viewers.
I hate them all. Just kidding. Hey, both of the fans are going to love this interview. Just kidding.
It's us too.
It's for you.
It's for us.
No, honestly, in TNA, it's interesting because the two biggest things I ever wanted to do, the biggest thing I ever wanted to do as a manager, truth be told, is have a love triangle. Because that love triangle was Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, and Kurt Angle was just everything. I'm pretty sure it's still everything to me, because I just love that storyline. Other than Jericho and the dog Lucy, I love that one as well. And I ask him about it a lot more than he'd like me to ask him about it, but I love it. I love Lucy. Anyway, so to me, to be put in a Miss Elizabeth position is just literally a dream come true, because that's who I, always wanted to be compared to, because of her classiness and her elegance and femininity, and she was totally the poster child for being the damsel in distress and that being okay. A lot of girls in wrestling, there's, why don't you wrestle? And they try to be so tough, and I would always get upset when managers would start to wrestle. I mean, that's fine if you want to wrestle, but they were just so hell-bent on proving themselves and being tough. I just thought, why can't we have both? Why can't we have wrestlers that are tough, and then have me who's, the damsel in distress? I love that role. I love it. I relish it. So to be a Miss Elizabeth role is cool, but to be in a love triangle was even cooler. But I loved the Jay Lethal thing because it was so sweet and innocent, and we were all young, and I don't know if you know Jay Lethal at all, but he's too damn nice to even be in wrestling. I'd like to think that I sort of am, but Jay definitely is. By the way, I didn't mention you, Sanjay. You scoundrel. Just kidding. You can be in wrestling, it's fine. I'm totally kidding. But the character was similar to all of us. Maybe not Sanjay. Okay, maybe it was. So the point is, I loved the innocence and the love and the classic family-friendly vibe that Jay Lethal and I had, but truthfully, I was more comfortable, which people are always surprised by. I was more comfortable in the Sanjay role because I have always been the bad girl on the indies, almost always. And people that know me are like, oh, Val, I just can't even imagine you being, the B word. And I kind of go, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong then, because I hope that you would think I could do it and carry it off. And I really felt like SoCal Val, the character. The SoCal Val character has always been the Stephanie McMahon type, the rich brat. I won't say the other word because I'm a lady. I try to be. And so I think that's really what I felt like when I was coming into my own, was getting to be that bad girl with Sanjay. And I got to make out with him, which was, hey, it's alright with me. Can't complain. You get paid to make out with a dude. Cool. I could lead to other things. No, wait, that's about it. I should stick to wrestling.
What other ventures have you got outside of wrestling at the moment?
Well, what's cool is, I love doing wrestling shows, and I've been pursuing it ever since TNA, but it's opened up a lot of opportunities as far as being an on-air host, and I think I should mention this. I've never talked about this in an interview. It's not a big deal. At least to me, it's not. People really flipped out when I changed my hair, and people went back to TNA. Thank you. I was like, it's hair. People were like, even as early as the TNA tour, it's like, oh yeah, Val changed her hair. She looks. And I'm like, I don't think I look that different. I've always been a redhead, since like 2005. But when I started to pursue other opportunities outside of wrestling, a lot of my agencies, mainly the main agency I work with, Professionally Pretty, cute name, right? They're in Atlanta, they're amazing. They putting me up for things like a couple travel show pilots that I did, which were great experience. It's really hard to take someone seriously in certain on-air roles when you have this sort of like bright red, really long bombshell Maxim-y kind of hair. Works for wrestling, but with presenting elsewhere, it was a little bit of a hindrance. So that's how I went a little more conservative. And I like it. It's darker, which is more like my natural color, so I've enjoyed it. But yeah, a couple travel show pilots, a lot more modeling, and a lot more of this type of modeling that I've always wanted to do, which is more editorial, more artsy, avant-garde. I got to do a steampunk editorial. I've gotten to do various magazines and things that are more about the outfits and the expressions and the emotions of the photo, rather than just, hey, here I am in my bikini again, in lingerie again. Basically, I got to wear clothes, and that's been exciting.
Fair enough.
But I've been a lot warmer. So thank you, God.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time out to chat with us. It's been a genuine pleasure.
Are we going to end it on the note of me wearing clothes? Yeah! High fives all around, brothers!
Probably the first interview to do that.
Wonderful. Oh, come on.
So you're
Scotty
welcome.
Too Hot who said the same thing. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure.